Hello everyone. I'm Mr. Wolf. Have you ever heard of a man who made time itself, Bao? A figure so monumental that centuries later, his name still echoes with the force of a tidal wave. Today, we journey back to the 13th century, to the land of Dai Viet, to meet a legend whose story defies the very passage of time. This is the tale of Tran Hung Dao, the supreme commander who stared down the most fearsome empire the world had ever known and did not blink. In an era when the Mongol Empire, under the lineage of Genghis Khan, had conquered a vast expanse of the globe, stretching from Asia to Europe, their sights were set on the small but resilient kingdom of Dai Viet. Too many, resistance seemed futile. The Mongol horde was an unstoppable force of nature, a storm that swept away dynasties and crushed armies. But they had not yet met Tran Hung Dao. Born into the royal Tran family as Tran Quoc Tuan, his destiny was intertwined with that of his nation. From a young age, he was not just a prince, he was a scholar of military strategy, a student of history, and a man with a burning love for his homeland. He understood that defending Dai Viet would require more than just courage. It would demand intellect, unity, and a will of iron. The first Mongol invasion came in 1258. The Dai Viet forces, though valiant, were initially pushed back. The capital, Thang Long, modern-day Hana, was captured. But this was merely a prelude. Tran Hung Dao, alongside the reigning emperors, orchestrated a brilliant strategic retreat, adopting a scorched earth policy. They lured the massive Mongol army deep into unfamiliar hostile territory, stretching their supply lines thin under the punishing tropical heat. When the invaders were weakened and riddled with disease, the Dai Viet forces launched a devastating counterattack, reclaiming their capital and driving the Mongols out. It was a stunning victory, but it was only the beginning. 2 decades later, the Mongols returned, this time with even greater force. In 1285, under the command of Prince Togan, son of Kublai Khan, an army of reportedly 500,000 soldiers stormed Dai Viet from both land and sea. The situation was dire. The pressure was so immense that some officials wavered, suggesting surrender. It was at this critical juncture that Tran Hung Dao held the famous Diren Hong Conference. He gathered not just officials, but the elders of the nation, asking them a simple question: should we fight, or should we surrender? A single thunderous roar echoed in response: fight. This was Tran Hung Dao's genius. He knew that victory didn't just lie in military tactics, but in the unified spirit of a people. He famously wrote the proclamation to the officers, a stirring call to arms that ignited the soul of every soldier. He spoke of honor, duty, and the shame of servitude. He wasn't just a general giving orders. He was a leader, igniting a flame in the heart of a nation. His soldiers, moved by his words, tattooed the words, Sate Tht, meaning slay the Mongols, on their arms, a permanent pledge of their defiance. The battles that followed were masterpieces of strategy. Tran Hung Dao employed flexible, guerrilla-style warfare, using the terrain to his advantage. He exhausted the Mongol forces in a series of skirmishes, avoiding a direct, pitched battle where their numbers would prevail. The climax came in naval engagements at Chuangduang and Hamtu, where the Dai Viet fleet, under his command, shattered the Mongol navy. The invaders were routed, and Prince Togan himself had to hide in a bronze tube to escape. Dai Viet had done the impossible, not once, but twice. But the story doesn't end there. The Mongols, humiliated and enraged, would return a third time in 1288. This time, they came with one of the largest naval fleets ever assembled, aiming to secure a supply route through the Bachdang River. They had learned from their past mistakes, or so they thought. They had not, however, accounted for the historical and tactical brilliance of Tran Hung Dao. He knew the Mongols would use the Bachdang River. He also knew its tidal patterns like the back of his hand, drawing inspiration from a victory at this very same river centuries prior. He ordered his men to plant massive, iron-tipped wooden stakes, hidden just beneath the water's surface at low tide. He then sent a small fleet to lure the Mongol warships into his trap. As the tide began to recede, the massive Mongol vessels found themselves impaled on the hidden stakes, trapped and helpless. From the banks, the Dai Viet army, which had been lying in wait, launched a ferocious assault with fire arrows and infantry. The Bachdang River turned into a watery grave for the Mongol fleet. This decisive, legendary victory ended the Mongol dream of conquering Dai Viet for good. 3 times, the most powerful empire on earth had tried to conquer this small nation. And 3 times, they were sent home defeated, their armies shattered, their pride broken. The architect of these impossible victories was one man, Tran Hung Dao. His strategy was not just about winning battles, it was about uniting a people, leveraging the land, and understanding the soul of his enemy. He was a master of psychological warfare, a brilliant logistician, and an inspirational leader who could rally a nation to a single, unshakable purpose. After the wars, Tran Hung Dao showed another side of his character: wisdom and magnanimity. He advocated for policies that would help the people recover, easing taxes and focusing on agriculture to restore the nation's strength. He understood that a country's true power lay in the well-being of its citizens. Before his death, he left behind precious advice for future rulers, emphasizing the importance of treating the people with kindness, as the people are the roots of the nation. If the roots are firm, the nation will live in peace. So why does time itself seem to bow before this man? Because the values he embodied, patriotism, strategic genius, unwavering loyalty, and deep love for his people are not confined to the 13th century. They are timeless. Tran Hung Dao is not just a historical figure, he is a national symbol, a deity in the hearts of the Vietnamese people. His story is a powerful reminder that the size of an army does not determine the outcome of a war. Spirit, intelligence, and unity can overcome even the most overwhelming odds. Centuries have passed, empires have risen and fallen. The world has changed in ways Tran Hung Dao could never have imagined. Yet his legacy stands as a towering monument in the annals of history. He proves that some individuals are more than just people of their time. They are beacons for all time. Their actions create ripples that travel through the ages, reminding us of the enduring power of the human spirit to defend its freedom and its home. He is the man who faced the storm and became a mountain. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the past. If you were inspired by the incredible story of Tran Hung Dao, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more timeless tales. Let us know in the comments which historical figure you believe defied time itself. We'll see you in the next one.